Ms. Kelso, you are in court today to prove that Mr. Davis is the father of your 9-month-old baby, Connor Kelso.
Yes, Your Honor.
You claim Mr. Davis has done nothing for your son, so you're suing for half the child rearing expenses in the sum of $2,561. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Davis, you say Ms. Kelso was in a relationship with another man, Mr. Hafner, during the window of conception.
Yes, Your
So you are 100% certain that you are not Connor's father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Kelso, you were in a relationship with another man, so why are you suing Mr. Davis?
Because our conception date aligns with the date that I was sexually active with Mr. Davis.
All right, please explain further. You all were in a relationship.
For about 4 years, on and off, whenever we weren't with somebody else, we were having sex with each other. And Mr. Davis and I had sexual intercourse while I was dating Mr. Hafner, even though he was out of town at the time.
So you were with another man, and then you saw Mr. Davis during that time?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you did sleep with Mr. Davis during the window of conception?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Davis, do you remember having sexual intercourse without using protection with Ms. Kelso?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you admit that it was during the window of conception?
I'm not sure when the window of conception is. That's based off of what she's told me.
Ms. Kelso, do you have any evidence that would prove
Yes,
the
I do, Your
time
Honor.
frame? This is
the window of conception between the 5th and the 11th. Mr. Davis and I had sexual intercourse on the 7th, while me and Mr. Hafner had sexual intercourse on the 15th. When
okay.
he arrived back in town.
All right, so there is a window of conception between January 5th and January 11th. And then you were intimate with Mr. Davis on the 7th, which is in purple.
Yes, Your Honor.
And then Connor was born October 18th.
Yes, he was a week
so,
late.
Mr. Davis, does this look familiar? Were you with Ms. Kelso on January the 7th?
As far as that particular date, I'm not for sure. I was definitely with her during that time frame, though. Yes, yes, Your Honor.
You were?
Yes.
So, Ms. Kelso, you admit that you were also with another man?
Yes, Your Honor. It was Mr. Hafner.
Without protection?
Yes, Your Honor.
And when were you intimate with that man?
Around the 15th, when he arrived back in town.
Around the 15th of January?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So, Mr. Hafner, that's the man you were intimate with on the 15th?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, you say your baby was late.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you were with Mr. Hafner just 1 week after you were with Mr. Davis.
Yes, Your Honor.
And your baby was how many days late?
6, Your Honor.
6 days late. Okay. When the child came late, did you ever think to yourself, maybe it's Mr. Hafner's child, not Mr. Davis?
I just go by the conception date. And by the way that my son looks, I see it in his skin color. The more I see his skin get darker. But that could also be Mr. Hafner's family because they're half Puerto Rican and they have dark children in their family as well, so.
That I don't believe that child looks anything like me, Your Honor.
You don't see a resemblance at all?
I don't see at all.
But he's also a mixed baby. He's got me in him, too.
I have no reason to believe this child is mine. She flat out came out and told me the child.
But if he's there, you know,
So
why would he be there if he didn't
come out
think
and say
so?
the child is not yours?
Several times. She's told me in person the child's not mine. She's told me over Facebook. I have pictures of her telling me on Facebook
I'd like to see those.
that she's not that I'm not the father.
So this is a post from you, Amber Kelso. It reads, "My son is not yours."
Yes, I told him that because I didn't want him coming back to my house while I was pregnant. He put me through way too much stress, so I just told him the child's not yours to get him away from me.
When you tell a man, my son is not yours, and you don't just tell him, you write it, he's likely to believe that.
I know, and I wanted him to because I wanted him to stay away from me.
So, Ms. Kelso, you say that he hasn't contributed at all to the child-rearing expenses you've incurred thus far.
No, he has not, and I have put together a little draft of the expenses that I have had to purchase, things that I've had to buy for my son since he was
I'd like
born.
to see those.
I brought her a bunch of baby clothes, a bunch of baby blankets.
Did you bring the receipts for those purchases?
No, I did not.
How much did they cost?
They were very low cost, and I mean, some of them were dollars. I mean, no more than $10 for all of them.
So you spent $10 on baby clothes and items for the baby. Ms. Kelso, you handed me a list of the expenses you've incurred thus far.
Yes.
And this totals $5,122.
Yes, Your Honor.
That you spent on this baby in 9 months.
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Davis, you say you contributed $10 to that.
Your Honor, I know for a fact at least 10 people that I know personally that she's had intercourse with. I have no reason to be there for this child.
But Mr. Davis fails to explain about the times that I had sex with the people that he knows, because none of them were around the area of the conception date, not even months around.
So, Mr. Davis, even if she was sleeping with other people, you've admitted in court that she was sleeping with you.
She was.
So you potentially could be this child's father.
I could be, but I 100% don't believe I am. She's the most promiscuous person that I know by far. She's not the first one. She has first, second, and third place.
Your Honor, I stopped being promiscuous when I met Mr. Hafner on November 8th, 2013.
That was the exact date.
The exact date.
And
that's the day I met him. That's the day that I started sleeping with him, and that's the day that I started dating him, the day I met his family. They're all here present today. And the only reason that Mr. Davis is in the picture is because I had been cheated on by Mr. Hafner, and so I cheated back with Mr. Davis.
I thought you said November 8th you stopped being promiscuous. So it was revenge sex.
Yes, absolutely.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. So, Mr. Davis, you constantly talk about how promiscuous she is, and yet you keep sleeping with her.
That's all I was interested in.
And were you using protection all these times?
No, we weren't, because she told me that she was medically unable to have children. And in the 4 months that we were together, she never so much as had a scare with her. And we met, I can count with one hand. I don't even need all 5 fingers on how many times we've used condoms. And now all of a sudden she's pregnant.
Are you
and all of a sudden
proud of
I'm the
this?
father. No.
Okay.
No, but a month before I got pregnant, I was even reconfirmed that I couldn't have kids because my cervix was too small. And then I pop up pregnant a month later. So it came to as a surprise to me and to everybody that I was pregnant. It was like a miracle baby. It wasn't ever supposed to happen.
But you do understand that pregnancy is not the only consequence of unprotected sex. You
Yes,
get
I
that,
know.
right? That there are other serious consequences.
Yes, Your Honor.
And while I don't condone you sleeping with everyone all over town, Ms. Kelso, what I also don't condone is men standing in my courtroom constantly downgrading women, talking about they sleeping with everybody, and then they sleep with the same woman and don't protect themselves. I think I'm ready to hear from Mr. Hafner. Jerome, please escort Mr. Hafner into the courtroom. Mr. Hafner, thank you for joining us today. I have to ask you, do you think baby Connor is your child?
That's what I think.
You do?
Yes, Your Honor.
And so, have you done anything for Connor thus far? Have you helped in raising him?
Yes, Your Honor. I have been feeding him, being there for him, showing him I love him.
What are you holding? Is this evidence you brought to court?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'd like to see what that evidence is. What is this, sir?
It's a picture of me and Connor.
It is.
Yes, Your Honor.
So you're presenting this picture to show a resemblance, and is this you when you were a child?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then baby Connor?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you believe there is a resemblance?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. When you look at that picture, Mr. Davis, do you see a resemblance?
They're twins. How am I can't tell them apart. That's his child.
How convenient. So, after you found out she was pregnant, question whether or not you were the father. Were you involved in the process? Did you participate in the
Yeah, I
pregnancy?
was there all the time. I went
No,
to
he was not.
I was there all the time. I was there up until about 6 months. I went to quite a few doctor's appointments when she asked me to go. I never had an issue with going.
He
And
showed up at my house about 4 times during my entire pregnancy.
Not true. Not
3
even
of them
close to
trying to
being
look
true.
for sex.
Not even true. Not even.
And then the other one was for my mom to take us to Orlando to the appointment that showed the gender of my son, and he just sat there in the chair and looked stupid.
Mr. Hafner's family has even been supportive to you.
The entire time, since I was pregnant, into the time that I gave birth, the day I gave birth, ever since they have been in my life. Connor sees them regularly, at least 3-4 times a week. I take them
She's
over to
made
their
0
house.
attempts to reach out to me or my family through another mutual friend via Facebook. I've seen pictures of her with Connor and his family and having just around Mr. Hafner's family. That's it.
Because
you know,
he
leading
stresses
them
me
to
out.
believe,
That's what
oh,
he
this
does,
is
so I didn't
this
want
is
him
his
near me.
family. You know, this is his child. Yet I'm the father. Yeah, you know, yet the child looks just like me.
Well, I mean, Ms. Kelso, that is an interesting point.
Oh,
On the
I
one
did-
hand, you're saying he stresses you out and you don't want him to be around. On the other hand, you're accusing him of not helping and not being involved
Oh,
with the
no,
child
because
when it's
he
his.
told me he wants all or nothing. His words, not mine.
So, Ms. Kelso, you have a witness that you brought
yes,
today?
I did.
I'd like to hear from her.
This
Ma'am,
is
please
Miss
stand.
Hafner, Mr. Hafner's mother.
Thank you for joining us.
This
Ma'am,
is hurting me because I believed Connor is ours. He looks like my dad. I have pictures to prove it.
I'd like to see those.
To show you, he looks just like my dad. And
And this is really upsetting you.
Yeah, I believe he's my grandbaby.
And it's important to you. You don't have to be sorry about being emotional about a child. We understand how important they are.
I love him to death.
And this is a picture of Connor on the left, and this is a picture of Mr. Hafner's grandfather, which is your father,
Yes, Your Honor.
on the right. And you say you truly see a resemblance.
Yes, Your Honor.
On a scale from 1 to 10, that's an 11, and you compare our two pictures, and that's maybe a 2.
Ms. Kelso, I have to say, it's very interesting as I listen to this family testify. This young man says he really thinks this is his child, he wants it to be. You have this entire family that has basically taken you in, accepted your child, loves your child, and yet you're suing Mr. Davis.
I want to know who my son's father is. It's just sad that these people who have cared so much that they don't know the truth, and we're here to find out the truth because
we wanna know.
my son deserves to have a father in his life, regardless of the financial expenses. He deserves to have somebody who will play with him,
He
who will
deserves
take
a
him to the
family
park,
that will love
who will
him.
sit there and feed him when he needs food, take care of him, love him unconditionally. That's what my son needs.
These are baby pictures of both potential fathers, Connor being in the middle. When you look at these pictures, Ms. Kelso, do you see more of a resemblance between your child and one of these men?
His nose looks like Jamal's. His eyes look like mine. His lips look like Richard. His hair looks like Jamal's. I just can't tell. They're so similar in different ways. I
You
don't
are
know.
truly confused.
I am.
I can see it on your face.
I'm just absolutely confused, and I don't know.
You really are confused, and I can see it.
I made a mistake by cheating on Mr. Hafner with Mr. Davis. I made that mistake, and I don't know.
That's exactly why we're here.
For him.
And so the truth of the matter is, although you're here suing Mr. Davis for half of the child rearing expenses you've incurred thus far, the truth is you don't know who your child's father is.
No.
I would prefer it to be Richard, but I'm almost certain that it's Mr. Davis's.
Well, I wish it was a matter of preference. Are you ready for the results?
Absolutely.
I cannot rule on your lawsuit until we know if, in fact, Mr. Davis is your child's biological father, because you understand that if he is not, he has no legal obligation to financially support him.
Yes, Your Honor.
Jerome, I'm ready for the envelope. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Kelso versus Davis, as it pertains to 9-month-old Connor Kelso, as to whether Mr. Hafner or Mr. Davis is the biological father, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Hafner, you are not the father. Mr. Davis, you are the father. Do you need to sit down, Miss Kelso? You need to sit down. Okay.
People.
It's okay.
My son needs a father. 2 other kids while I was pregnant. You knocked up 2 other girls while I was
I
pregnant.
take care of my other 2, and I'm gonna take care of my 3rd. Regardless how you and I are, that has nothing to do with Connor.
Mr. Davis, Ms. Kelso came to court saying that she spent $5,122 thus far in child care expenses, minus the $10 that you have contributed thus far. So for that reason, my award is for the plaintiff for $2,551. Mr. Davis, Ms. Kelso says during the time she was pregnant. You've also had 2 other children, is that correct?
Yes, I do have 2 other children.
Now you have 3 children?
Yes, Your Honor.
How old? Connor's 9 months. How old are the other 2?
Months. I have a 4-month-old and I have a month-old.
Come on, man. You just a baby-making factory. You just producing people. Miss Kelso, come stand back over here at this podium, because I'm gonna give you some real tough love. Now, you admit it, you have laid around all over town. This is a lesson for you.
I haven't been with anybody since I've last slept with Mr. Davis.
Do you have a nerve to get indignant with me when you the one that had a good family and a good boyfriend? No, hold on.
I found out my wrongs a long time ago.
Stop that drama now. Stop that drama. You turn the table on yourself. Miss Kingsbury, you say you were in a romantic relationship with the defendant, Mr. James, and planned to have a child together, but when your 11-month-old son, Chance, was born, Mr. James turned on you and began to deny paternity. You are here to prove Mr. James is the biological father, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. James, you say you had stopped all intimate relations with Miss Kingsbury during the window of conception. You say you can prove this is not your child with undeniable medical evidence. Is this correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Miss Kingsbury, what is the most hurtful part of this situation for you?
Well, me and Mr. James, we plan to have our son, plan to have a child together. So that's what hurts me the most.
And so, did you plan this baby, Mr. James?
Yes, I did plan it at first. We did plan it at first, Your Honor.
You did?
At first we did.
Take me back. Make me understand the nature of this relationship.
Well, we started off as friends, and then to lead it to a little bit more, I started living with him.
You were
I
a
was
couple?
staying with him.
In love, or you just staying with him, or you living
We were
with him?
in love with each other.
You were?
Yes, we were.
No.
What is your opinion of the relationship?
My opinion, Your Honor, is at first, yes, we did plan to have a baby. At first, in relationship, it was fun, adventurous. I think I could count on her. She was supportive. That was the nature of a relationship at first.
So what are you trying to say, that we weren't in a relationship, we didn't have love for each other?
Are you trying to say that, Mr. James?
I ain't say we didn't have love for each other. I said I wasn't in love. I got love.
So
for
why
her.
were you planning to have a baby with someone you weren't in love with?
My reason was because I thought she was a very nice woman when I first met her, or whatever.
Because he loved me.
I meet very nice people every day. I don't want to have babies with them.
Yeah, of course.
We had an incident about me lying about something. That's when he stopped, I guess, wanting to be serious with me.
You're right.
That's when all the...
All right, so tell the truth now. Well, that's why we're
That's
here.
when
Tell the
it
truth.
happened.
So what happened?
Oh, I lied about a way that I got to work. I didn't tell him who took me. I lied about, I told him that it was my sister who took me, but it was a customer of mine. I asked him if he can give me a ride to work. I did what I had to do to get to work. I didn't have a way. I had to take my daughter all the way to the other side of town to her godmother, and I had to get to work. I paid the young man gas money. And another thing, when I was going to get my nails done, the young man was on his way to my house to get his money. Me, Kenneth, and my daughter was walking to the nail salon to get my nails done, and the young man gave us all a ride. So if he felt any way towards me and this young man, he wouldn't have got in the car with us. He was there when I gave the young man his $10 of gas. He was there with me.
So wait a minute, Mr. James, you got an attitude because she asked a client to give her a ride to work?
Yes, I had it too.
Because she didn't tell the truth about it?
I just didn't tell him who the person was.
All right.
I told him that it was my sister, but it was someone else.
All right, so you did tell this lie. So
I
now
did.
after she told
I
this
did.
lie, Mr. James, what were you wondering? Why lie?
Yeah, why lie? Why not tell the truth in the first place?
But I
Why
told
not?
Did you start hearing rumors about her with other guys?
Yes, I heard. Yeah, I heard rumors. My friends that stay in the neighborhood, they used to tell me that she used to get out of cars with her, wherever men these are. I don't know, her co-workers or like what you just explained her.
That's
her
hearsay.
customers.
He say, she say.
No.
He ain't never witnessed me get out of no car with nobody.
I ain't
Now,
got
the
no
time
witness.
that we were together, excuse me, the time that we were together, me and him spent all of our time together. You ain't never seen me get out of no car with no man. And the only friend that I have that is a man is my daughter's godfather.
All right, so Mr. James, tell me the story. What were you told?
I was told that she got out of the car with somebody. She know their name. She ain't gonna tell me their names, cause she a liar.
I told you I lied. So
That mean you're a liar.
I lied about a ride. Okay. Yes, okay, I'm a liar. I've lied to him about a ride.
More than
That's
that,
the
too.
only lie that I've ever told you.
Listen, first I want to understand, because this is directly connected to your doubt, Mr. James.
Yes, ma'am.
What were you told specifically?
That she got out of the car with somebody.
Was this around the time I got
Someone
pregnant?
saw her get out of the car with
Yeah,
a man.
With a man. And when I confronted her, Miss Kingsbury,
Where was she when she got out of the car
Home.
with a man?
home. Across the street, whatever it was,
Home.
she was home by the
Home.
time she was home. So
The
I
person was
confronted her
across the
with the
street.
story. I confronted her with the story, and she denied it off the top.
Never did I deny that
She
story.
denied it off the top.
Now, a ride in the car, that's not the kind of ride to get you pregnant,
No.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
of course.
right?
Of
You,
course.
I got a ride home from work.
course,
I
but-
So
paid for
now
the
I
ride.
have to understand your doubt specifically. What does this have to do with the paternity?
All right, mistrust can lead to somebody cheating. And also, if you lie, that can also lead to different, like, session or whatever, different sequence of your life that you can do those type of things.
So now, Ms. Kingsbury, he's saying that now you've started a pattern of lying. Is that true?
No, I told him one lie.
Okay.
That's it.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. Okay, take me to the point you told Mr. James you were pregnant.
I was at work. I was like, well, Kitty, I'm about to buy a pregnancy test. And he was like, well, let me know when you take it. I took the pregnancy test about 7:30 that evening. It was positive. And I called him and let him know.
And what
Can I
did
say
he
something?
say?
He didn't say too much. He said, I'm asleep. I'll call you back.
I'm asleep, I'll call you back.
That's what he said to me.
At the time she said she conceived with a baby, she was walking with her coworkers then. Like, she was walking home with him. And I don't know if they had sex or
Excuse
not.
me,
See,
Your
I don't know
Honor.
about that. You know, so I don't know.
So she's
Oh,
walking
God.
home now with somebody.
About that
Let me
time,
explain something to you.
About that time,
me
she
and
told me
my
she was
coworker
pregnant.
lived in
Before
the
that-
same neighborhood. We both walked to work. He just so happened to be walking the same time. Yes, this is my coworker. We're gonna walk and have a conversation.
Oh,
he
not-
turned
no,
off.
but she never told me
Kenneth
that,
went
though.
to his house, and I kept walking
You never
home.
tell me that.
So
though.
wait, Mr. James,
You
listen,
tell that,
listen.
though.
I want to find out what happened when she told you she was pregnant. You weren't excited about the news?
I was asleep. I was working. I was
No,
tired.
he wasn't
At
worried
that
about
moment
my
ti-
pregnancy
at
because
the moment
he was
time,
busy getting someone else pregnant.
I was working.
You
So
see,
wait
he's
a
not-
minute. At the
not my
time
child.
Ms. Kingsbury was pregnant, you had someone else pregnant as well?
Well, yeah, you can say that.
So you wasn't sleeping too much.
I was sleeping.
No,
I still
but
was
I
sleeping.
was sleeping.
But I wasn't talking to her at that time either, though.
Yes, he was.
At the
he
point-
moved on after
Because you
Thanksgiving when he was driving down the
Because you
street in his
pregnant.
car and yelled out the window, "That's why I got someone else pregnant."
Yeah,
What?
yeah.
All right, so how does it get to the point where you riding down the street
Because
yelling
we
out?
arguing.
I stayed at
we
his
can't come to
house the night
understand it.
before.
No
and that
understanding, so we
morning when we
arguing.
got up, he was arguing with me about diabetes. I'm a diabetic.
Sure.
I got frustrated and I walked out his house and I walked down the street to my
it was
house.
more than that,
He
though.
jumped in his car
Arguing
and
with me.
proceeded to follow behind me and yelled out the window, "That's why I got someone else pregnant."
That's the only way I could tell her, though.
Mr. James, now you know you're wrong. Why get in your car and yell something out like that?
If I would have told her straight up,
But you was
she would have
still
did
intimate
something to
with
me
me.
or whatever. She would have did something in my car,
We-
or she would have probably hit me.
We were still together.
There's no
Yes,
understanding. There's no
yes,
understanding. That's why I had to say it like I had to say it. I didn't want to say it like.
So you had to say it and drive off so she wouldn't do something to you.
But Your Honor, he didn't do that. He drove to the store, waited for me to walk to my house, and came to my sister's house and to proceed to tell me more and more and more and more about this young lady.
I tried to make her understand.
I
or
told
give
him
her
to leave, though. I
understand
didn't
that
want to hear it. My sister
this
told him
what
to
happened.
leave. I didn't want to
What
hear
is it to understand? You have one woman pregnant, and now you got another woman pregnant. The only thing to understand is you doing the wrong thing.
Yeah, I'm doing the
That's
wrong thing. You can say that.
Were you at the hospital? Did you participate in the birth?
Yes.
You did?
Yes, I write down he was born.
He was.
But not her C-section, but when he was there, I was holding him. I
He
seen him
was.
pee-pee.
He signed the
all
birth
that.
certificate.
I seen all
He
that.
signed the birth certificate
All
and
that,
everything.
bro.
He did.
Because I thought
My
that's
son
the right
has
thing
his
to
last
do.
name.
Even though I had my doubts, as a person, I believe in God, whatever like that. I believe as a man,
The
you
doubt
take
is-
responsibility.
At what point do you really have real doubt that this child is yours?
I think when he was like 2 months, the sickle cell trait.
Okay. Chance was born with the sickle cell trait.
Yes.
The sickle cell.
Now, let's talk about some evidence.
When I heard about the sickle cell trait, I did my research with that trait. I had to be a carrier, or somebody on my side had to be a carrier. I don't have it. My mother don't
How
have
do
it.
you know you don't have it?
Because the doctor never said I had the type of trait, even though
Have you ever gone in and been tested specifically?
Not specifically.
Did you ask your family?
Yes, I asked my mother, she said no. Asked my dad, he said no. If she said she don't have it and nobody in her family don't have it, it gotta be another
Miss
man.
Kingsbury,
Okay,
These are
so-
scientific facts.
So how do your mother or your father knows anyone else in their family could be a carrier? How do they may know that you as their
because
child
they know their
don't
own
that.
mother, they know their
But-
own father.
and, well, my
That's
mother
why.
is deceased, so I don't know if she ever had the sickle cell trait.
So you
and
unsure,
my father
not
is not
me.
in my life.
All
you
right.
sound like you unsure too.
listen. And that's exactly why I brought an expert into this courtroom today, because I don't want us to be unsure. I want us to understand
Yes, ma'am.
how a sickle cell trait is passed down, and I want us to understand how it could possibly relate to the paternity of Chance. Jerome, can you please escort Dr. Wanda Whitten Sherney? She's the CEO of the Sickle Cell Disease Association of America, Michigan chapter.
Hello, doctor. How are you? I'm great, thank you. I'm gonna have you go up to the witness stand right next to you, going up the stairs.
Hi, Dr. Sherney.
Hi.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We are here today talking about the paternity of beautiful baby Chance.
Okay.
We have had testimony thus far, which led Mr. James, our potential father, to mistrust Miss Kingsbury. But what really fueled this doubt was finding out that the baby Chance had the sickle cell trait. I want to know from you, how is the sickle cell gene passed to a child from a parent?
Okay. The genes for sickle cell disease are very simple. You get a gene for hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is the red stuff in the red blood cell, and that's sickle cell disease is a problem with hemoglobin. So you get a gene for hemoglobin on the sperm from the father, and you get a gene for hemoglobin from the egg on the mother, okay? So the way you get sickle cell trait is one of the parents has to have it. So that means that, yes, absolutely, one of them has to have sickle cell trait in order for the baby to have sickle cell trait.
So that means if I don't have it, if my mother don't have it, my dad don't have it, so somebody on her side of the family gotta have it.
I don't have it and my daughter don't have it.
I've been doing this for 30 years, and it frequently comes up as an issue. The mother will ask the father, do you have sickle cell trait? And instead of saying, what is that? He says, no, I don't have it. And you ask his mother, oh, no, he absolutely doesn't have it. And then this whole paternity issue comes up.
So what you're saying is, and this is fascinating, because we assume as we grow up and think about our medical history and we think we know our full
Yes.
medical history.
Yes.
If we don't know for certain we have been tested for that particular specific condition,
Right.
we may get our blood drawn
And that's
10
what people,
times.
Yeah, I had my blood drawn, so if I had that, somebody would tell me. Or sometimes people think sickle cell trait is a disease and it would make me sick. And so I've never been sick, so I couldn't possibly have it. But it's a carrier state. If you get 2 genes, you have the disease. If you only get 1 gene, you're a carrier state, and the only problem is you can pass it on to your child.
And so what you now are saying is both parents can't say for certain they do not have the sickle cell trait because they don't know if they've ever been tested.
That's right. Or one of the child's parents has sickle cell trait.
Exactly.
Now, if I am a sickle cell trait carrier,
Right.
then doesn't that mean that my daughter would have had it too?
No, you would have a 50-50 chance
It's a
because
trait.
half of your eggs carry the gene for sickle and the other half carry normal. So you could have passed on a normal egg, you know.
Okay.
But in order for you to have a baby with sickle cell disease, both of you would have to have the trait. And then there would be a 1 out of 4 chance.
Very important information. So, Mr. James, it sounds like, and look, I commend you for doing your research, for saying, listen, I want to understand more about this as it relates to the paternity of this child.
Yes, Your Honor.
But what I believe has truly been illuminated in this courtroom is that you don't know if you've ever really had the specific test.
Yeah, because I ain't never been tested.
Exactly. And so for that reason, even though you may have doubts surrounding your paternity, this particular discovery you've made does not preclude you from being Chance's biological father.
Yeah, you right.
I think with that in mind, it's time to go to the results. Jerome? These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Kingsbury versus James, when it comes to 11-month-old Chance James, it has been determined by this court. Do you want to watch Paternity Court on TV? Go to paternitycourt.tv to find your local listings. Mr. James.
Yes, Your Honor.
You are the father. That's your beautiful little boy. How do you feel? It feels good to know for sure?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry.
You don't have to apologize. What are you feeling in this moment, Miss Kingsbury?
I'm just thinking about everything I went through. I don't have to lie about who my child father is. It just hurt because I went through a lot the past 2 years. For real, I took a lot.